Welcome to Sidewalk Talk. I'm Steve Fortunato. This episode's guest is someone I know very well, an accomplished watercolor artist that didn't start seriously painting until she was in her 40s. And she's the toughest person I've ever met. A 3-time vocal cord cancer survivor, her last bout at age 80, she beat it with radiation. She's had both knees and hips replaced, spinal fusion, 2 broken femur surgeries from falls, metal rods in both legs. She deals with autoimmune diseases, including lupus, and she has fought through multiple bouts of pneumonia and double pneumonia the last couple of years. She's a mother of 6, grandmother of 9, great-grandmother of 1. Her name is Pat Fortunato. She's my idol, and she's my mom. And this is a special Mother's Day edition of Sidewalk Talk. Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. How you doing?
Good, real good.
So, Mom is in her independent living apartment. At the time of this Mother's Day, we're in the middle of the pandemic. So my brother TJ is there helping her out. My sister Sue helps out as well. My kids, your grandkids haven't seen you we haven't seen you in person in 3 months. They miss you.
Yes, I miss them a lot.
So there are 3 questions that Sharice wanted to make sure I asked you. So I'm going to start with these questions. What is your favorite part of being a mom?
That's a tough one.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, not necessarily. The best part is being with everybody. Is watching them all succeed, which they have.
Is there a difference between being a mom? What's the difference between, you have 6 kids, all adult children, your youngest is in his 50s. So what is the difference between being a mom now, you're 86 years old, what's the difference between being a mom now and when you had 6 kids ages 10 and under?
Well, I'm a lot more relaxed about it. I'm more on the watching end and enjoying it. Instead of not much worry, although you always worry, but not like when you were younger.
So you worried more when your kids were younger than when they're adults?
Pretty much, yes. Not because as adults, everything's gone along pretty well. You're all pretty successful, and nobody's been in jail. That's a blessing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, I usually say that not yet.
So what would you say is the biggest struggle you had as a mom?
Biggest struggle. Or the biggest worry. I really was fairly lucky growing up. I didn't have huge struggles. All of you complied really well with my suggestion, shall I say. Except for cleaning your rooms, yeah. And that was small compared to the big thing, like what you're doing with your life. Everyone is, I think, quite successful. Makes me happy.
Okay. Last question Sharice had. What piece of advice do you have for other parents?
Listen. More than anything, let them know you're available. To listen to them, give your advice, be honest about it, but be open.
I think that's a good one. I hope you don't mind me chiming in, but that's the one thing that I always take away from her is that she was always a good listener. When you talk about something, she just sit there and sometimes she falls asleep, but she's a good listener.
That's TJ. We can't really hear you talking, TJ. We can hear an echo. So TJ is saying that his takeaway from you is that what he learned from you is to listen. So is that That's your number one. That's your number one suggestion to maybe new parents is.
Absolutely. Listen. Yep.
And what did you learn when you listened?
I listened to what was going on with all you guys, all your complaints, all your successes. You had questions, I tried to answer as best as I could, but I was open to everything.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. You never, whatever we thought, you never told us how to think or what to do, except for obvious things like brushing your teeth. So, but you always, you would tell us, you would let us make up our own mind. You might give your opinion or your thoughts or whatever. You try to educate us on whatever it is we were talking about. But in the end, our decisions were our decisions, and you always seem to support our decisions either way.
Yes, that was a good way of putting it.
So, we have, as you know, Sharice and I have 2 daughters, and it's a lot of work. You had 6 kids. I mean, what were you guys thinking?
Well, I actually don't feel that it was that difficult. I think because I wasn't concerned that you were all going to be president of the United States, are that successful? As long as everybody was healthy and happy, that's all that was most important.
Let's talk about art. You picked up art. Well, you were always you always enjoyed art, right?
Yes.
But you didn't really start. You didn't have time. You had 6 kids. Your dad was sick when we were younger, so at one point, dad was sick for like months. Weren't sure if he was going to make it, and you had 6 kids going. So you didn't start really painting until what? You were 40, 41. Tell us that story. How'd that get started?
I always talked about it. One day I'm going to paint and one day I mentioned to your father, I like to paint. He says, well, sign up now. Get your hat, get your paintbrush, get your paints. So he signed me up. He was on the Board of Education at the time. And he came home and said, you're starting next Monday at 7 o'clock at Waynesville North High School, the adult ed in painting. So that's how it started. And then I was told by the instructor to sign up for art society. So I signed up for the Waynesville Watercolor Society. And that's where I really spent most of my time. And I ended up, after a few years, instructing. And when they had their meetings, I was one of the demonstrators. And then it became my life. I would paint at night, put the kids to bed, and I would paint from about 9 o'clock till around 12 or 1 in the morning. I was younger then. I now don't paint at night. I'm too darn tired. So I paint during the day, but I can.
What is it about? Well, you went and you chose watercolor as your medium. What is it about watercolor that you enjoy so much?
I like how fluid it is. It's more difficult to learn, but actually it's an easier medium to paint with. With oil, you have to be more careful because you can't just wipe it off. With watercolor, I was told you can't scrub out watercolor. Well, you can. You just use good paper, good paint, and a strong brush, and you can scrub out anything. So I like that. And, I love watercolor. I like the colors are strong. I use good paper and good paint.
Well, some of your work, it's really, let me see if I can, yeah, you guys can see. So like, what's cool is you turned in a bunch of your artwork. Here's an example. For those that are on YouTube, you can see, I mean, this is actually a card. You turned some of your artwork into cards that I've kept over the years. If you can see a bunch of them over there, a bunch of your cards,
Yes.
bunch of your, that's an example of, so it's a picture of one of your paintings, but your paintings are all over our house. And I knew that I knew you were good. I didn't understand it, when I was younger, but then I remember when I went to one of your shows, probably at Birchfield, or maybe it was Albright. I don't remember where it was, but it was in Buffalo. And I remember this lady was staring at you, and then she said, "Are you Pat Fortunato?" It was a fan. This lady was like, "Are you Pat Fortunato?" I'm like, "Mom, you have a fan." And when I'd go to different exhibits and shows, or when you would teach, I see people that were your fans and in awe of you, and loved your artwork. And did you recognize that how good of an artist you became and still are?
Well, I didn't even think about it. I was so into it in my 30s and 40s. I worked when you guys would go to bed. I'd work from 9 until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I could do it then, but I really didn't think much about it except doing it, getting it done.
What I don't understand is the skill that you have, your ability, and our girls are in awe of you, and they want to be like grandma and be able to be an artist like you are. Why and why? So they're going to be 9 and 7 this summer. They are already better artists than I am. Why do I not have the ability to do anything beyond stick figures? I literally can't. I do not have that ability. Why does that not? Why do some people have it and some don't?
I don't know if it's a natural ability. What I feel it is, if someone really loves it, they love it enough to learn, and they're willing to spend the time. But it just can't be. I don't think it's just automatic. Someone is a great artist. I mean, you have to learn a lot, and you've got to spend the time. I spent hours and hours. You kids would go to bed, and I would be up. Of course, I was younger. I'd be up until 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'd be ready to get up at 7 the next that morning. Then again, I was young.
So yeah, I think about it. You're an artist and you worked at your craft. I guess I'm a different type of artist. While your art went visually, my art goes through audio, and I'm an artist through writing. So I write to persuade, and I've worked on that craft for many years. I guess we're all artists in some capacity, but I think I get my creativity uh, from your, like, your openness to your thinking is like, well, I remember you telling our youngest, she was coloring, and she keeps being taught color within the lines, and you told her, not if you don't want to, you color wherever
Right?
you want. It's that openness to creativity. Is
Yeah,
that what you think drives?
absolutely. That's one of the first things to teach, because by the time kids are 10 or 11, if they're interested in art, they're scared to death to go outside the line. It's got to be just so, and it doesn't have to be that way. They can relax and do whatever they want.
So let's talk about, I mean, you've gone through multiple surgeries, and I mean, I don't know how many times I don't know if you know this, but I've had doctors prepare before one procedure, like, she may not make it through this. Every single time you've made it through. So it's a real inspiration. What do what is it? How do you keep defying the odds?
Maybe it's because I don't think that way. I don't think, oh, I'm not going to make it. I just automatically assume I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to do it in a month. So I
Mm,
don't. negative.
So you think positivity breeds good health?
Oh, it can. It can certainly help. Yeah.
You know, a lot of you're 86, so a lot of your friends you've lost a lot of your friends.
All of my friends.
I mean, you were the it's almost because that your body failed you, your mind didn't, but your body failed you many years ago, and but you're you know, I know you deal with chronic pain. I just think a lot of people would have given up. And how is it that why have you not given up? Why do you continue to move forward and fight for life?
This sounds a little crazy, but I've thought about it. I, when I talk about being in pain, sometimes I find it actually interesting. Oh, that sounds crazy, but it just doesn't bother me. I guess I have a high capacity for it, and I frankly just don't feel it. Whereas others probably do. That's a huge difference.
I mean, you feel it because I've seen you. I've seen you in pain. I think what happens is part of it is your attitude is like nothing you can do about it, and then you move forward.
Yeah, that's true.
And I
But
would say that that's my takeaway. What I've learned from you, when I feel sorry for myself, if I'm in pain with something, I think about the pains that you have you have fought through, and it's a lot of it's right up here, right?
absolutely, yeah,
All right. So you grew up in North Buffalo, went to Holy Angels.
yes.
What is it about, and you've never left Buffalo. I know Dad would always say he wanted to go to live in Florida or whatever. There's more baseball down there, but you never wanted to leave Buffalo. Why did you always want to stay here?
Because my whole family was here. I couldn't think of the thought of moving away. And fortunately, we didn't have to.
Can we talk about your family, grandma and grandpa? So, um, grandma, uh, your mom, uh, talk about Grandma Ray and what she meant to you.
She had the best sense of humor of anybody I've ever known. I remember her comment to me. She said, it's a lot better um, having a rough beginning and then ending up with a nice life. She said, I end up having everything I ever wanted, and then everything went down. But she laughs about it. She had a great sense of humor.
I've always said I feel like I got my sense of humor from you. I think about the one time you had a trach, and I couldn't get near it. It was just I was afraid that I was going to screw everything up. But Kathy and Karen and maybe Sue, I don't remember, but I remember at one time, Karen was frightened. She didn't want to, because they had to change your trach. When you had one of the surgeries and things went wrong, of course, and they gave you a trach and you came out fine, but with the trach at the time, and they had to change it. And so you knew Karen was freaked out about it, and you went and you pretended to choke. Oh, is TJ there? Help you with your headsets? Hey, TJ, can you help Mom with her headsets? Put it up there.
I think about that now. That it's kind of funny. Laugh about it. The trach didn't bother me. Whenever it was working.
I also think a lot of times, as you've gotten older too, what's been great is you go through some tough times with your health, but you forget. So that's nice too.
Nice to have a lousy memory.
Another one I remember is, I don't remember if it was a knee surgery or a hip surgery, but after you have those, you have to go into rehab. And you were in rehab facility, and she was younger. I don't know, maybe I think she had knee surgery. But when you have these surgeries, they put the stuff in your stomach, and when you come out of surgery, you tend to have gas. And so you had a roommate, and Karen and I were there, and we were messing around with your wheelchair and having races and stuff. And then, and of course, we were adults at the time, but this poor lady had a real battle with gas.
I'm remembering.
And it was brutal. It sounded like a war zone over there. And then we so so Karen and I, as you know, the jackasses that we were, we put the sheet over your head, and we ran out of the room. and when we looked in, we could see you, because you couldn't move. You had surgery too, and we put the sheet over your head, and you were sitting there, or I'm sorry, you were laying there with the sheet over your head, but we could see your body convulsing from laughter.
Sometimes you laugh at the worst things.
Yeah, we were laughing at the lady because she had uncontrollable gas after her surgery. So that was really adult-like.
It was hysterical.
All right, so I do want to talk about Dad. You know, you lost your husband. You were young. I mean, you were barely 70.
I was 69.
Yeah. So, what advice for widowers? You know, I mean, you're 86 now. What is it? You know, so you were with Dad for, I don't know, maybe 50 years, something like that. So, what was life like for you afterwards? And how, you know, what's been going on for the last 16 years for you?
Saving grace was that I had something to do. Art. You know, if you just live your life a certain way without anything else, anything extra, when you're left alone, you're left with nothing. So I was left with my art, and that was a saving grace. It still is. Even though I don't do it as often as I used to, it keeps me going.
Hey, TJ, are you there? Can you fix Mom's headphone and microphone so she doesn't have to touch it like that? We'll wrap up here in a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Mom, you don't have to touch it as long as it's holding on there.
God, I got a big head, so.
Okay, that works. All right, technical difficulties, but we can
Right, done.
You know, we can make it through. All right, so you say art was your saving grace before Dad died and after?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. How did you meet Dad?
It was my friend. Let's see.
Was it Joanne Harlock?
Joanne
Well,
Harlock.
so where's Joanne and Dick, right?
I introduced Joanne to Dick, and they introduced me to town, or Dick did. So it was, and then we also had Joyce and Paul. There were three guys that went to Canisius High School.
Right. So Dick Harlock, Paul Schaefer, and Joe Klein.
Yep.
Right? Wait, were they all Canisius?
Yes.
So Dad was Canisius, obviously.
Yes.
So
yes.
four guys went to Canisius.
Right.
Now, all you girls, you didn't all go to Holy Angels, did you?
Oh no, I'm the only one. Joyce went to Mount St. Joseph. Who else was there? Oh, Barbara went to Holy Angels with me.
Barbara Klein.
Yes.
I don't know what was her maiden name. Do you remember? We know her as Aunt Barbara. So this is a group of 8. And so McCarthy. Okay.
Yes.
So Barbara McCarthy, and we
Joanne
lost.
Harlock was Holy Angels too.
Joanne was Holy Angels. So Joanne, Barbara,
Barb,
and you all went to Holy Angels together.
yes.
And were you all friends
Yes. We became friends.
at Holy Angels?
Yes.
And then, so, and then all four of the guys all went to Canisius.
Yes.
They were all friends.
Yes.
And so the 8 of you, it sounds like you all kind of introduced each other to each other. Is that how
Right.
that went
That's
down?
how it went. Yep. A couple at a time. Yep.
So were Dick and Joanne Harlock the first couple?
Let me see. No, Paul and Joyce.
Paul and
Schaefer.
Joyce, Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
They ended up having like 50 kids.
7 kids.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
exaggerate.
Yeah. But it was cool because they weren't our uncles and aunts. I thought they were.
Yeah, well, we called them that.
Yeah, Uncle
Well, they
Paul.
had 7, we had 6, and Joanne and Dick had 4.
And
17.
Barbara and Joe.
Barbara and Joe had 4.
Yeah, I mean, no one
So
less
we
than.
had her. And when we get together, yeah, it was a group, which we did do. Especially in the summertime, we were the only ones that had a pool. And they all came in the summertime.
Well, I do remember going to the Schaefer's house a lot.
Oh, yes.
They had that pizza place next to them in the parking lot we could play in.
That's right. That's right.
I was younger. Me and TJ were 5 and 6, so we were always usually, well, we were pretty much the youngest of all those.
Yeah.
They're not our cousins, but of all those kids.
Right.
So I wasn't as aware of everything and who, what, when, where, and why as
Right.
maybe my older siblings were. Like
Right.
I always have to ask Karen or Sue who's who, because I can't
Yeah.
always, I was a kid. I didn't care. I cared about myself,
Right. You didn't. Right.
So that's cool. I mean, that's a really, you had the 8 of you.
Yeah.
There's-
Very close.
There's 2 of you left. I mean, you're one of the standing few, right?
I mean, all the girls are gone.
Yeah.
I was the one that was sick, and they all died. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, you joke about that too. You do say, you do talk about that. You kind of laugh because when you think about it, you were probably the first that was supposed to check out, considering all your health issues.
Right. Right. So what's left now is Dick Harlock and me. Unfortunately, he lives in Florida now, so I don't get to see him.
So I want to get back to being a mom, and then we'll wrap up. What's compare being you're a mother of 6, but you're a grandma of 9, and now a great grandma for the first time in the last year. So what's it like? And then Karen is a grandmother now. So right, your daughter's a grandmother, and she seems to really enjoy being a grandma to Jackson. She sends me photos and videos every day. What's how do you compare being a mother to a grandmother?
Well, with the mother, you're more nervous, you're worried, you're anxious. But it seems like when you become a grandmother, that's not your problem anymore if you allow it to be your problem, worrying about them. But I don't worry. I figure they're doing, you guys are doing a great job being parents. I can just enjoy. So that's nice. That's a good part.
What is the enjoyment? What is it about being a grandparent that you enjoy?
Seeing them. Well, the way I see them, they're all wonderful and talented. And they make me very happy to watch them growing up. Although I like them when they're little too.
It's funny because the one thing that I have taken away from you is it doesn't matter, like dad, Dad thought that I was literally Babe Ruth, and I was a left-handed hitter. I didn't have much of an arm. I had average speed. I could hit a little bit, didn't have a very good glove. I had no chance of ever playing professional baseball, which is surprising to him. You know what I mean? Like the support that you always, I think no matter what, if we do something wrong, your support is there. In other words, you always see the positive in your children and your grandchildren, no matter what. Is that on purpose, or is that just inside you?
I think it's inside me. I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. I just figure everything's great. They're all going to succeed. And they
All right.
have.
Okay. All right. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to, one of these days, I want to sit down with you, record, not necessarily for a podcast, and talk about the details of your life so that we have it forever for some things that, that maybe we do, or maybe we can learn about things that we didn't know about. That for I highly encourage anyone out there we have this technology now. I mean, I haven't seen Mom in 3 months, in person, right? And we don't have to be in person to record things. We can record discussions with our parents and grandparents now, record it so that your kids can have it down the road, and we'll never know what we'll learn by talking to our parents and grandparents. So, Mom, thanks for the talk. Thanks for the information. Thanks for the inspiration. You inspire me every day, and hopefully, some of the things you talked about here can inspire others to move forward. So I love you, and happy Mother's Day, and have a great day. And I hope we get to see you in person soon.
Well, thanks. I love you too.
You can download all of our podcasts on your platform of choice. You can also view them all by visiting our website, shovelthesidewalk.com. If you or someone you know has a story of inspiration, information, education that needs to be shared, there's a form on our website. Please fill that out, and we will have that person, or we'll have you on an upcoming episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for listening. I'm Steve Fortunato, and this has been Sidewalk Talk.